Most people think owning a reptile park includes playing with cool animals all day. The reality is it's actually pretty tough. Today we're going to find out a little bit more with owner-operator of the Reptile Garden here in Belleville, Cape Town, Bjorn.
Oh, this is the last guy who worked for me. Yeah.
The last guy who worked for you.
Yeah.
Dangerous job. So my friend Bjorn runs a reptile park, which seems pretty fun, but is it? He's one who hates office work, but ends up having to do that anyway, because that's part of running a business. So what inspired you to actually start a reptile park?
Yeah, so I mean, I had a lot of snakes, and it was almost like a full-time job, the amount I had, because I was really passionate about the animals and everything. I started with importing reptiles and trying to sell them as pets, and that was very slow and things. I went more the educational route, and I've always wanted to do my own thing. I don't want to work in an office and paperwork and all of that, but owning a business, that's part of it as well. Reptile Garden, Bjorn speaking.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks
All right,
very much,
cool man, cheers.
Thanks for that. Bye-bye.
So we're currently behind the scenes of the forest cobra, and I think the puff adder also needs a bit of cage maintenance. So you can see a little bit of day-to-day stuff of the things that Bjorn has to take care of. It's not all sunshine and roses. It's a lot of poop that you got to clean, eh Bjorn?
Yeah, and then once you put them back, it's all nice and clean, then they go poop again.
Sounds about right.
Alrighty, so this enclosure we've got our two black mambas. These are both males. These are nice big males. As you can see, very shy animals, very movement orientated. So I always just let them know that it's me, it's not foodie time. Just get them to back up a little. So we've got a beautiful shed here. Nice full shed from this boy. So yeah, I just wanted to work with animals and educate people about them. And if I can get someone to like a snake, you know, they can like pretty much or appreciate any animal.
That's true. How long have you been working with reptiles, and what actually got you into it?
Yeah, so I've been working with reptiles for about 25 years now. So I was a bit of a slow starter. I didn't even know you were allowed to keep snakes. And then a friend of mine, his brother had snakes, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, really cool. Got a little Californian king snake. It was just like a little pink worm. It was the runt of the litter and everything. And she only passed away last year now. And yeah, I was reading in the book, and I was like, oh, this thing can eat a rattlesnake. I'm like, that's crazy, you know, and then turned the page and was like, oh, look at that one, look at that one. And they're all so different in the way they hunt and the way they're built and all that kind of stuff. So it just sort of kept escalating. So I was looking at how I can turn that into a business and a living. Individual sponges for every animal here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Each animal has its individual sponge to clean each water bowl.
Yeah, I don't take any chances, and I've found since I've done that, I've had a lot less issues and things with animals dying or crossover of anything. I mean, you'd think like a disinfectant should kill everything, but you also get like these fatty bodies that cover, and fats like protect things like the coronavirus and so on's protected, you know. So yeah, I just don't take any chances, and that way.
So how do you store all the sponges?
They've got individual.
So each sponge has a name.
Space there, yeah.
So having and owning a snake park sounds like a load of fun, but it sounds like it's more chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, like having if you have your own business, then you work 7 days a week. Like if you're serious about it, or, you know, when you're starting it up and so on like that. Unless you're making lots of money, you got someone who can manage it, then you have a business and you have a great time and go on holiday and what have you. But yeah, so for me, it's like I work 7 days a week. Sometimes if obviously need to go on a holiday or something, take a break, then I might take a week if I can.
But essentially you've got to be an octopus, so you've got to be a business manager.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could just
everything.
Go through a multiplying machine and duplicate myself, you know, and then I'll be sorted. The black mamba's not aggressive snake. They're extremely shy and defensive. I actually like to call them paranoid schizophrenic. They are freaked out by everything. And that's what makes them quick to bite. The more nervous a species is, the more quick it is to bite. If it's scared for its life, then it's more inclined to bite you. So that's what makes these guys so dangerous.
What are the biggest challenges of running a reptile park?
Yeah, so like we struggle a lot with exposure where we are. I mean, we've been on this property for 12 years and there's people who come here all the time, still don't know we're even here. So getting the exposure, that's a big one. I mean, if you've got a reptile park and you're slap bang in tourist destination where all those other hubs of touristy things, I think great, but that kind of property is going to cost an absolute fortune and those kinds of things. So that's like big money there, or rentals and all that kind of thing. So my electricity bill is pretty massive. And then staff to run the place and feed for the animals, you know, insurance, but yeah, it all adds up. The running costs are actually quite massive.
Have you ever questioned, like, why am I doing this?
No, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, but like with all the challenges and that you face, is it ever like, should I actually be doing this or should I try something else?
I don't think there's anything else I really want to do. You know, I always keep my eyes open for other business ventures and things like that. But I mean, being so busy with this, I think the only other ventures I can do is to invest in some ventures and business ideas or something that might help carry things on a bit better. But yeah, otherwise, there's nothing else I really want to do besides this.
Just to keep the park open, Bjorn has to basically be an octopus. He has to do a bit of everything, from kids' birthday parties to building enclosures, manufacturing snake hooks and tongs, designing things, to having an online store. And did I mention he even has to like have a social media platform and run that too? That in itself is a lot of work. And now he's doing all these other things. I spent a few days with this guy. He doesn't have time to breathe, if that makes sense. He's doing a bit of everything, but he loves all of it, except some of the stuff. I'm pretty sure he does not like all the phone calls and paperwork that is involved with it. What are some of the most difficult reptiles to care for?
Chameleons. Chameleons are the worst. Fur-lance, horrible snake to work with. My ones anyway. I've seen other people like hook and tail them and they're all nice and that. Mine are not like that. So that is an extremely dangerous snake and that to keep. And obviously venomous, you know, the risks involved, especially exotic venomous in South Africa. You know, where you're going to get the anti-venom from if you get bitten. So that's high risks there. And
so is that essentially like your reasoning for having a reptile park? Is like, okay, now I know I want to set them up nice.
Yeah, I mean, like what you see here, for me, this is like, yeah, it's okay. I definitely want to do more like backgrounds and forestry and real plants and all that kind of stuff. I mean, but when you've got so many display cages, just the LEDs and UV lights and all that, your electricity goes even higher. And with your plants, you need all your different growing lights. Added to that, the expenses on that's quite high.
The fun part of owning a reptile park.
Yeah, never ends. It's like we just cleaned the black mambas and they've gone again. Okay, so that was a big load of fluid as well, so we like to dig deep and get everything. We also got some nice bioactivity going on here. We'll just mix and stir the ground. It's funny that they actually are quite well potty trained because they always come to this section. And then, yeah, the other thing about, I don't know, it sort of fits in there is like everybody, I want this snake, I want that snake. And then you start getting a whole lot of snakes. And then it's like, okay, now these snakes are growing up, where do you put these snakes? And then, I mean, I've been through it. You know, you have so many snakes, you're like, jeepers, I don't have any more space left. Where they're all going to go, either you're going to have to start selling them, or you're going to be keeping them in really small, inadequate housing. So one thing I could say for people is like try and actually keep one, like 2, 3, 4, 5 things if you're a private keeper, but like animals that you really, really want, and like make their cages epic. You appreciate them a lot more, because otherwise you're working your 9 to 5 job, you come home and you look at your rack and it's full of just like snakes, and you need to clean all of them, and you're like, oh my goodness, it becomes like hard work and stuff, and everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to get a quick buck in breeding this or that. So I'd say, like, keep things in like beautiful setups where you can actually like come into a room and have a cup of tea and be like, yo, this is epic, it's not a whole lot of work. Your bioactive systems are easy. You pick up a bit of poop, throw it out, stir the ground, done. It's just the setup's a little bit, and it's not massive either. So I think, like, my opinion on that's like you can appreciate things a lot more in that sense, and work with your animals a little more and things like that. Because everybody just wants to get the most high-end this and that and keep it in the rubbish cage. People don't spend a lot of money on enclosures and things. It's like literally like a water bowl and then the snake.
Exactly.
It's like it literally can't even stretch out. That's just wrong. I was busy doing a clean and this guy's not too happy. His brother pooped on his back, so I had to spray him down. Do a nice reset in the cage here. But yeah, he's getting a little bit grumpy with me now. There we go, settle down, boy.
What role do reptile parks like yours play within conservation?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we very much into education. Like even our shows, we're not there to entertain you. And we make it obviously fun, but our main focus for me is to educate the public about snakes. So when they can see an animal like this and actually appreciate it, that doesn't end up meeting with a sharp end of a stick.
Now, some people want to catch them by the tail. What's going to happen if you grab its tail? It's going to turn and bite.
So I find most of the criticism and like backlash and that in social media. It's easy when you're a keyboard warrior who doesn't keep any snakes and thinks they know better. So yeah, I'm more than happy for someone to give their opinion who's a snake keeper, and then I can see their views, and I'm not going to shut them down totally, and I can actually see like that's actually a really good valid point. I could actually change what I do. Thank you for the input, things like that. More than happy for good communications there. But a lot of the time you just get bombarded and this and that. So mostly social media. In the park, not too much. I mean, I've had one customer being like, oh, your door closes automatically and it bumps and then the snakes are scared and this and that and what have you. And I'm like, okay, what about the trucks driving up and down causing vibrations through the ground here and everything? There's wild snakes right next to the N1 here. They live here quite happily. They're used to that kind of thing, so it doesn't bother them.
Yeah, and there is an essence of like these animals learn to become habituated.
I mean, these animals do not react to people at all. You can dance around in front of my cobras and things like that. They don't care.
Rattlesnakes don't even rattle.
He used to, but now he's also getting used to it. And he kind of rattles when he sees like maybe a lot of people during feeding time, or in the back opens up and I startle it, and then there's maybe movement in front. But it never strikes at the glass, because otherwise it wouldn't be there, because it could hurt itself. So yeah, no, they do very, very well.
Bjorn's also the only guy at his park that works with all the venomous animals. So on top of doing everything else, being the business owner, being the face of Reptile Garden, he has to clean all the venomous animals on exhibit and the stuff off exhibit, which there's probably 3 times the amount at different facilities. And he's looking after all of those animals, driving around like someone who hit an oil mine. Because as we know, the Strait of Hormuz and whatever has feels to be quite pricey. But besides that, he still sacrifices all of his time and effort into that, or finances into that, to be able to take great care of all the animals. What would you say to somebody who wants to like own and open up their own reptile park?
Yeah, I'll say it's a big commitment, and it might take you a few years to even see anything coming back from it. Again, depends on placement. That's extremely important. Is there other activities on the property, you know, restaurants and this and that and what have you? And then what sort of fee are you going to charge? Are you going to get people coming regularly? Are you in a tourist area? You know, all these things are big factors. But yeah, reptile parks, normally this was my main one, but I've had one total fail, one semi-fail, which I closed, and then I'm part of another reptile park as well. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of experience in it, and it's not easy. Reptile parks are expensive. Like, I mean, if you can get off the grid with solar and everything, which is very expensive, then you can cut out the electricity bill. Some people will give very inadequate heating and things and lighting for their animals and have a reptile park. So your costs will be much lower, but is it going to last? Is it going to look as nice? Are the animals going to be healthy? So that's all factors to consider.
Yeah, you can't cut costs because it's lives that are.
Yeah, and then you're not going to have much to display anyway. And things are going to get sick and die, and then you can get closed down anyway because the things are getting extremely strict with the papa license and all of that, and your inspections and things.
What keeps you going despite all the challenges you face?
Albino baboons. So they've kept this place running. And then you're thinking like, you know, geez, you're going to lose them and possibly the mother. So it's extremely like stressful situation. And then when the vet is like passing you dead albinos, there's a dead albino boy, there's another dead albino boy and girl and the heads, and you just like, so disheartening, like breaks you, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's my passion and everything. So I mean, I've had failures. You just got to get up again and go at it. You know, this is what I want to do. So I think the only reason I'm still going is the determination and things. Oh, hopefully, you know, well, it will happen. It will happen. Put it out there, it'll happen. I'd like a much larger property to really expand. Because, I mean, my venomous section here now, I think there's, 15 species. And I've got loads more that I could display, but I don't have any space now.
So just a huge thank you to Bjorn from Reptile Garden. All the links will be down below. He's pretty active on Facebook and Instagram, so go check him out there.